Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talks a Lot Boys. I'm your host. My name is Tyler, and as always, I'm joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we've got Kyle.
Hello.
Been a while, and we're a little late to this one, but Dwellings has released one of our most hotly anticipated albums of the year, Little Garden. They released it a few weeks back. You're finally taking a chance to break this shit down and rank all the songs from it. Very interested to hear what you guys thought of this record, because we have not talked about it yet at all. So, what were your thoughts on this album? Brent, I want to pass it over to you first.
Oh man, this album is like I was sitting in my truck on the way home from work today, jamming this shit, getting ready for this. It makes me think of like what DGD would have been if Kurt Travis stayed with the band.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have similar notes in mine as well. It's crazy.
And also the singer, while having like some, like, to me, he's like a blend of Kurt Travis with like some shades of Andrew Wells.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like Daddy Dole himself. Like that, like there's some times on like some songs where like he'll sound like one minute and then sound like the other. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, are there features? No, there's not. Okay, so that's not them. All right, this guy's pretty unique. And I love how this album, like, it seems like the band is like in step with each other. Like, they'll have tempo changes. They'll have, it seems like the bass, the drums, and guitar are like all like in sync, and they all change at the exact same time. Something else is happening now. So this album is definitely like a pretty little adventure. I think it's pretty fucking solid, man.
Hell yeah, man. Kyle, what did you think about this one?
I have been, like you said, hotly anticipating, as we all have, this album for a minute. I have probably listened to the singles from this album more than anything else so far this year, because they're so fucking catchy. And the whole album did not disappoint. I adore this album. I think it's so risky, some of the shit they do in here. A couple tracks in particular go way ways you wouldn't expect. Like, I wrote expect the unexpected as like my main take of this whole album, because like this like songs where you would not expect a weird carnival-y beat to shows up, and I'm like, this is odd. And they nail it. Like, it's so cool how many risks they take, how seamless every transition is that they do these wild switch ups in. And like you said, Brennan, I think the vocals really did stand out for me as well, because there are, like you said, there are some songs where I was just like, how many vocalists are on this track? One? Oh, it sounds like there might be three, because this dude can just so perfectly nail different styles to match the switch ups in style the song is already doing instrumentally. So I just think it's a really awesome little album from this band. It's so cool, and I can't wait to hear what happens next and to talk about it with you boys.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that this album is like a huge step up from their first record, which I like. Lavender Town, great album, but I think there are songs on there that I like actively dislike, and I can't really say that about any song on this album. There's definitely songs that I think are weaker than other songs, but I don't think there's any songs that I would consider to be like actually bad. Like I kind of would feel on the previous record. So definitely a lot of like growth just between the two albums. Just really impressed with how far these guys have come already, and can't wait to see what they do next. But we're gonna talk about just this album now. That's why we're here. So we're gonna list off all the songs in the order they appear, and then we're gonna start ranking each song from worst to first, like we always do. So away we go. First up, we have Devices. Second is Gold Leaf. Third is Gothic Girl. Fourth is Happens All the Time. Fifth is Hiding Your Numbers. 6 is It's All There. 7 is Last. 8 is Red. 9 is Serrated. And 10 is Waypoints. Gentlemen, I'm going to hit you with the age-old question. Which song belongs at the very bottom of this ranking?
I kind of zoned out, but did you say Waypoints was number 10? Or am I just, did I zone
Yeah,
out?
you read from like a different.
Yeah, it's very different than what I have.
What the fuck? That's
9
literally
is
the
hiding
order
your-
it is on Spotify.
Okay.
For me, 8 is waypoints, 9 is hiding your numbers, 10 is last.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Spotify fuck up?
I mean, I'm on Spotify right now looking at it. It's Devices 1, Gold Leaf 2, Red 3, Happens All
What?
the Time 4. It's
I'm
All
literally-
There 5.
Look at if
Gothic
it
Girl
focuses
Serrated.
on my phone. The order is what I said it was. I will screenshot it and send it to you.
That's
That is
wild.
hilarious.
I
Yeah,
don't
'cause
know
I have
why
the
it's
same one
different
that
on
Brennan
my
has.
phone.
Yeah.
Because I was worried Apple Music had it differently, because I'm obviously looking at that. But then if Brennan's got it, like,
I'm gonna show you.
It's
I'm
wild.
fucking screenshotting it. It's a completely different order for me.
What the
What even?
fuck? That's crazy. Holy shit, yeah. Last, then red, and red is like what, number 3 for me?
Yeah, number 3.
What in the world?
Last is last, just so you know.
I mean, that would make more sense,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah. You said
what
last,
in
and
the
that's
fuck
when my
is
like,
wrong with my
I looked back
Spotify?
and I was like, last was not 5th or 4th or whatever the fuck, or whatever it is. Yeah, no.
Well, I guess I've been listening to this album out of order because my Spotify is broken. Cool.
That's so silly.
Yeah.
Well, either way, the songs
Anyway.
exist as they are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Much like you said, Tyler, I don't think there's anything that's like bad on this album at all. I very much agree with that. I will say there are some tracks that are a little bit shorter that kind of upset me. Like specifically like Serrated, Happens All the Time, both are under 3 minutes. And Happens All the Time, I think does a lot of cool shit. Serrated though, I could start thinking that maybe that's near the bottom. Serrated's definitely the one I had the least notes for personally, because I think it doesn't try as much as some other tracks. It's just a pretty safe track for them. Still strong, still really tasty, but like nothing wild happens.
I agree. Also, are you guys gaslighting me? Because I'm going on the internet and I keep finding the same listing that I have on Spotify.
Really?
What the fuck?
No,
Yes.
I mean, I'm literally.
I went online to like make sure.
Are you guys gaslighting me?
I'm so.
Here you go.
Oh yeah, on Apple Music it's different, but like I went on like another site and it had it listed in the order that I had it too.
Yeah, here you go to prove that I'm not gaslighting you. It's there for the internet to see as well.
What the
Oh my
fuck?
God.
What? That's crazy.
That's so strange.
Dwellings, explain.
Yeah, Dwellings, if you find this, please explain why specifically my Spotify and internet searches are bringing it up in a different order than everyone else.
What the fuck?
I'm so confused.
I mean, well, even YouTube has it all fucked up too.
Are there
What?
is there just 2 versions of this out? Like, is it a different experience intentionally if you listen to the songs in a different order? Is it like that crazy, or is something just fucked up? Now I just really want to know.
I don't know. Maybe whenever like it first got put on before the whole album came out, it was in a different order by accident or whatever reason it might be. And then when it actually released, maybe it flipped or something for some people. Because like I mean, like we said, it makes sense for last to be the last one. And I'm pretty sure one of the because they did this thing on Twitter where each band member made a post about their favorite song.
Yeah.
And the one that said last was his favorite was like, and it's a great album ender. So I think, wow.
Cool.
Well, that's a fun mystery to start this episode off on. I like that.
Glad I got fucked over on that one. But yes, I agree. I think Serrated is like kind of a weak track in comparison to other ones. It's a good song, but I don't think it really does anything to stand out particularly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's probably the weakest one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I literally have no negative notes, but I also have the fewest notes because, like, I mean, when I look at it, I think it's cool. Some of the stuff they do, like with the electronic-y, wobbly sounds in it, in the very background. And I just like gave it notes that I gave a lot of other tracks. Like, how like the vocals slot into an instrumental where it doesn't seem like anything could possibly fit in, and yet it seamlessly does. But all the other songs on this album do that. And there's just a lot of really good like small vocal run moments in this one, not nearly as grandiose as some of the other songs, but like still cool, good to note. But I mean, I literally have almost nothing else to say about it other than that I like it, and it just is good.
Yeah, that's really all I have too. So I would like to lock that in at the bottom. I also had similar feelings about Red. It wasn't particularly my favorite track. Kind of for the same reasons. I think it's good. It definitely has good parts in it, but I think it just kind of falls flat compared to a lot of the other songs that do a lot of like crazy stuff and kind of like shoot out in these weird directions and have a lot of different standout moments. I think that Red is just kind of like a decent track, and it's just kind of there, but it doesn't really do anything for me in like any kind of way, you know?
That's fair. I definitely think the big note I gave to Red over Serrated is that Red is like a phenomenal roller coaster song, because this song has so many moments of like really great building and deconstruction. Like even from right off the bat, there's great building in like that first like 30 seconds. Around like the 225 marks, the guitars come in and completely switch up what you're thinking you're listening to, and then it all strips down by the end of that to get built back up to the ending, and then it even does bring it back down again once more before it finally, like they just, I mean, throughout this album, you're going to notice they know how to like build and deconstruct songs in like wild genre bending ways. But this track, it's super solid. I think specifically that little guitar bit there from like 225 to 240-ish or something is really impressive, because it kind of like just completely breaks the meter of the track for a second for them to switch it up before it starts deconstructing again. But other than that, I agree. It doesn't like bring in these wild other elements like other tracks do.
Yeah. What do you think about that one, Brennan?
I mean, I love... This is the one thing about this band. They literally cut this song in half. So at the 2:30 mark, like almost exactly. Like, because like the beginning of the song, like it builds, you know, it does some cool stuff, you know, goes some decent places, all right? But nothing's going to blow the socks off my feet, right? And then all of a sudden, literally at 2:30, guitars kick up, totally different song for like a minute. And then kind of like, what sucks is like they make this drastic change and turn it into a song of two halves. But then after like the initial like departing from the original song, they kind of like slow things down and like don't really carry on the momentum that they just created. And I think that's kind of why this track, because I also kind of regard this track like pretty low compared to like, because there's other tracks on here that do the same shit, where like all of a sudden, boom, totally different track, and they carry the momentum, and the rest of it's just fucking legendary.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree. I think this track, albeit it's good, it's got some pretty neat stuff, but should be towards the bottom, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anything we would want to be under Red, or would you be okay with putting that next?
I would definitely like have like Serrated than Red.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like Serrated's locked in at the bottom for sure.
Okay, cool. I don't really think so. I'm flipping through my notes real fast. There's a lot of like all caps moments and notes of other songs that I know don't beat out the song that we just talked about.
Same.
So I know those simply won't beat it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably how I'm feeling.
Okay,
I'm down for that.
I
And then I have no idea where to go, honestly.
Okay. I have like a few ideas of like some lower ones. I don't know like a specific order necessarily. I think Serrated and Red are definitely like my personal bottom two. Again, not bad songs, just comparatively. The only other ones that I would rank lower, not necessarily next, but I would put in like the bottom half. Probably Last I think is good, but I didn't listen to it as an album ender because apparently my order was fucked. So maybe it's better as an album ender. I literally wouldn't know. I just know that the one grievance I have with it, the part at like 1 minute in, very unique, very creative. personally kind of annoys the shit out of me. Like, it's cool, I guess, but like I also like the first time I listened to it, I was like, that's kind of neat, and then like the second time I listened to it, I was like, oh, that's okay, and then the third time I listened to it, I was like, this is kind of grating. I don't really know if I like this as much as I thought I did at first.
That's fair. It definitely is the most like out of nowhere switch up for them on this album. Like it really is so different than like this very sultry, even jazzy later in that track vibe that this song creates. For it to just be, as I put in my notes, this is a panic attack and it's very cool. Because I just don't know what happened. It's out of nowhere and very, like you said, like almost grating. I still think it's cool, but I definitely get your vibe of it being like so out of nowhere that it's like, how did we get here? How did this happen?
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that it's like a bad choice in the song. It's just like, for me personally, it just kind of annoys me more than it is cool, just for me personally. But I do think the song also like offers a lot too. So like I don't necessarily know if I'd want it next.
Fair.
Hiding Your Numbers is really the only other song that I don't have like a ton of notes on. Again, solid track, just there weren't any standout moments for me in that one.
Can I just say something about Last?
Yeah, go for it.
I always think of like like a cartoon, like a train, riding down the tracks. And then like right as that part starts, like the train hits like a crazy bend. The train like gets on like one wheel. And everyone on it's just like, what the fuck? Like, they we want to derail this bitch in East Palestine or something, like, so, and then like the part ends and the train just like all of a sudden like, lands back on the tracks, just keeps going like nothing ever happened. It's just like
the conductor's all like, and don't worry everyone, we're fine, listen to this sultry jazz, and then it's like,
yeah.
What?
I almost died back there, bro.
It's like so accurate though.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking that like I said, I was in my truck earlier riding home from work and I was like that part hit and I'm just like looking around like what the fuck? Yeah, it's like so out of left field and so random.
Yeah.
Oh man.
As far as Hiding Your Numbers goes, to just like hard shift to the other one. I personally really enjoy this track. I will say the first time I heard it, it didn't strike me as much as when I like kind of like sat down and really like kind of focused in on it more. And the way that this song, because like I talked about how Red had like some really cool like building and deconstructing, and it's just very obvious. With this track, it'll take like an idea, and as it goes, and like the vocalist is just kind of fucking shredding it up over top of this one instrumental idea, they're just like sprinkling in like one instrument at a time, or like a layer of a guitar in on top, or like this really sexy ass little cymbal fucking rhythm that comes in randomly the second time that like a verse hits. And it's like very light additions to like keep building this really cool thing. And then the vocals are like continuously like getting higher and higher until this motherfucker is just like so passionately belting that I'm like, oh my god. And then at like the 157 mark where it like hard shifts tempos, like very out of nowhere, is like one of the most flawless shifts in tempo I've heard in a band as of late. Like that shit is so well done. Holy fuck. It gives me chills every time. That and the vocal layering in that second half of the track after that, with like the weird echo almost of his own vocals, where like the echo will like do a runoff as he starts the next line, is just really cool writing. I think it's really cool. But I will say, like, my knock against Hiding Your Numbers is that it gets a tad repetitive in that nature of it, adding a little bit every time. It's still that same thing, which can like I on that first listen when I wasn't listening for like these little things was like, oh, this is a kind of repetitive track. It still kind of hits, but it's still repetitive. So
yeah,
I can see why it would be down this way.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I mean, Brennan, what did you think about this one?
It's one of those songs that does a lot of cool things. Like Kyle said, like, the tempo change at 157 is fucking gnarly. Like,
Yeah.
all of it, like, it's like, and I love when, like, can I get this more, like, in music in general? Like, the fact that bands, like, you know, and we talk about these bands all the time, like, you know, Sleep Token and fucking whoever. But, like, the bands that, like, take you somewhere and, like, change shit up. Like, even in Last, like, yeah, that part might have been, like, grating cheese or some shit, but, like, god damn. Like, at least they're, like, trying to, like, come up with, like, innovative ways of, like, you know, getting the audience somewhere.
Yeah.
And, like, hiding your numbers, like, with that tempo change, like, it's like subtle and sudden. Like, all of a sudden it's like a totally different tempo and you're like, whoa, like we're going somewhere else now. Like, but unfortunately that's like the only thing of note that I really got out of it. The rest of it you've either heard elsewhere in the album or, you know, just doesn't have the wow factor of, like, because there's some songs on this album that, like, there's one part that just, like, blows my fucking socks off, and the rest of the song is that good.
Right,
you know,
yeah.
in setting it up or, you know, taking you on a little journey or whatever. But I mean, I like this song, but it's like, fuck. I like all the other songs too.
Right, yeah. It's like, I don't dislike a single song on this.
Yeah.
There's just definitely, like, clear standout moments in other tracks, whereas this one is like, there's that one part, and then that's kind of it.
Yep.
I have a track I kind of like to toss into the ring a little bit here, and it is like another one where, like, there's only one thing that kind of made me go about it, and then everything else is, like, really solid, and that was Gothic Girl.
I really like that one though. I really like that one though.
And I really like it as it's going, and then the ending of that track just kind of fucking goes on for, like, a really long, like, fluttery ending, like, bit, and it's like not bad, but then when it goes on for like 30 seconds of this track, I was like, I don't know, it just kind of stretches it out to a point where I didn't really need it. Like, I thought it was weird. I just wanted to get into the next song.
But Gothic Girl has a straight up disco sex jam, and that carries a lot of weight for me personally.
Fair. Very fair. I don't know. I just want to toss it out there because it's only, like, one of the only tracks I have left that I had a personal knock with, so I wanted to throw it in the ring. I could easily see it surpassing, especially Last, and probably Hiding Your Numbers. But there's nothing else that I really have here that has, like, a knock. So
I
figured I'd bring it up.
physically can't put that beneath either of those other two songs.
I can't either.
Okay.
Although, fuck. All right. Because, like, and I wanted to wait until we really got to where this track was going to be, which apparently is going to be somewhat soon. But, like, from that disco sex jam on, and to Kyle's credit, okay, the last 30 seconds the song could do perfectly without.
Yeah.
Right? We bitch about.
I was going to say, you guys usually bring that up more often than I do, so I was surprised no one else said it before me.
I completely agree with you, and I think this is why the song doesn't hit top 3.
Right.
Okay. Or, like, that realm. Okay. But literally from the start of that disco sex jam on, all right, like, this is what's so beautiful about this track. They do so much setup for that final sprint. Like it's literally the same riff, you know, from the start of this disco sex jam. You know, the guy's kind of singing, like, you know, it's getting like a little poppy, a little, you know, like everything's real punchy, and then it kind of like breaks down for a sec, and then they hit you with just like this fucking final chorus that just feels like a crescendo. Like,
yeah,
it's that riff, but like enhanced and like distorted and like on full like force, and you just hear the singer like fucking belting like over it and shit. It's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
yeah,
like literally like from a minute to like 30 seconds ish. It's a little off from that, but it's just like so powerful. But it does get to those 30 seconds where it's just like, do I hit skip? Do I fucking just let it ride? What do I do here?
Yeah, like
against
to me,
myself. Oh god.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, to me, like, having like a kind of unnecessary 30 seconds at the end, like, doesn't come close to diminishing the rest of what that song does, in my opinion. Like, I think that song, even before it gets to the disco sex jam part, I mean, I think that just the overall, like, the overall, like, beat of the song is just, like, it's so catchy and it's so, like, fresh, and it's just, it really just comes out the gate swinging, and it's one that you can just, like, vibe along to. It doesn't really, like, it's still technical, but not in a way that it's, like, overwhelming at all. It's, like, a very digestible, technical, catchy, like, it's a perfect blend of, like, what I would want out of a song from them, you know? And again, not saying that we put this in, like, top 3 or anything, because we do have a minor gripe with it, but for me, it has to be a lot higher. Also, like, It's All There has the same problem where, like, it ends with, like, 30 seconds of just a really long, distorted note that could be shaved off. So, like...
Ooh.
It does, and that's fair. Oh, like the feedbacky shit at the end. I see what you're
Yeah.
The thing is that track goes everywhere.
No,
like,
I mean,
I think that
I wasn't saying that as a disservice to that track. I'm just saying, like, if we're going to talk about it for Gotta Girl, we also have to talk about it for It's All There, because I agree that song is really fucking good.
And I mean, if we also want to talk about it, Gold Leaf has a monologue at the end of its track.
Yes, it does.
So it's kind of in that same boat. It's a little different, obviously, but just throw something else out there.
Yeah.
To argue against myself bringing up Gothic Girl, and to kind of go off of what you were saying to praise the track, because I do still like a lot of this track. I think, like you said, the beginning is very technical and easily digestible, because it keeps coming back to that, like, one moment that happens like 2 or 3 times before we get to that disco sex jam, where it's just like the layer guitars going, and it just is like fucking dancing on that, and it's like not a lot is going on around it at that point. But when the vocals come in, those guitars are like doing these cool technical things while the vocals take the lead, and then coming back together to be like, and here's this riff that you love, it's easily just fucking bob your head to. And then after, like, this really well constructed, like, normal dwelling song, it then does this cool disco sex jam, which then comes back together to fucking rip at like the 3 minute ish mark, I think, or something like that. So I totally agree the song does, like, really cool shit. Same time, it's just still, like, something that had a knock that I wanted to bring up.
No, that's totally fair
point, dude.
Yeah.
Fair as fuck.
Completely fair. Well, I do think, after talking about all that, I think that Hiding Your Numbers and Last are probably the next 2. I don't know what order we want to go in for that, but I do think we should lock those in.
I would put Last beneath Hiding Your Numbers, as much as it hurts, because I love both of these tracks, like, a lot. Yeah. Like, we are immediately into, like, I hate putting them this low, but this is where they need to be. And my reasoning for Last below is that it has one moment in it where we go, whoa, and with Hiding Your Numbers, it has a moment that makes us go, whoa. And I prefer the happy whoa than the like, surprised whoa.
Sure.
So I like Hiding Your Numbers a little bit more.
What do you think, Brennan?
Hiding Your Numbers are last?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hiding Your Numbers doesn't have a part in it that makes me wonder, like, what the fuck is going on. So, Hiding Your Numbers.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm the same, so I guess it's unanimous. We'll lock that in.
I respect the jazz. I respect the jazz, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good song.
No, after that part, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just that
hurts
one
me
part.
Against it.
Yeah.
It's literally a fucking train wreck in motion. Like,
yeah. And that's just a testament to, like, how crazy good this album is, that, like, we have to rank things low just based on, like, one instance that we don't necessarily jive with, you know?
Last, the song that, like, teeters into, like, chaos panic attack music and jazz in the same track is in the bottom 3. That's insane. Well done, Dwelling.
They fucking brought their A game, dude.
They really
did. We're gonna lock in Last at number 8. We're gonna put Hiding Your Numbers at 7. Now we have
Ooh.
3, 4, 5,
Six left, I think?
6 left, yeah.
Fuck.
So if we do tabling, that would give us a top 3 and a mid 3.
Fuck.
If we want to just go to that immediately.
I'm down.
Does anyone who would like to go first?
I have a couple, and I just don't know what to go with.
Not me. I can't go first.
I'll go first. Basic answer. But I want to table devices.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm all in.
Okay, I can live with that.
For reasons I'll explain later, but I also don't think I need to explain that much, I'm going to table waypoints.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's also a solid choice.
Dude.
I think it's pretty obvious that it should be, but for a specific reason that I want to dive into later, waypoints.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me, dude.
Good luck, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know
Like,
what
for
to
real.
do after that.
Bro, I am in a fucking internal death struggle between It's All There and Gothic Girl.
Damn.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
I love them
I know
both.
where I'd go.
Holy fuck.
I will say, even though we said that we shouldn't put Goth Girl in the top 3, like, I still kind of want to do that. I still really, like, that's a standout track to me.
But listen, highway robbery, though.
Oh, dude, that lyric.
That fucking moment with those lyrics are insane, dude.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right, yeah.
Oh. Fuck, dude.
It's tough.
Also, if we table It's All There, won't that mean that we're tabling all 3 of the singles?
Sure fucking are. And I'm not going to tell you that the ones I was struggling to table were the 3 singles, but I'm
not in disagreement. I mean, like, they're all amazing.
They did a great job with their singles.
They really did, honestly.
Fucking hell, dude.
I will say whatever one Brennan doesn't table should be 4.
Oh, easily. Fuck, man.
Well, let's hear. We'll just talk about these 2 and decide what order we think we should put them in.
And should we? Well, what else is next, or what else?
Yeah,
is
we
left?
could just leave those for like a different conversation.
Yeah, let us simmer on it.
So 5 and 6.
So we would have
Happens All the Time.
Happens All the Time and Gold Leaf would be the only ones left.
Ooh.
I see. To me, both of these tracks are extremely solid.
I agree.
Personally, Gold Leaf stands out a little bit more to me just because of how, like, wild they get with some of the choices they make in that song. Like, starts off like really vibey, and then they go into like a fucking swing beat 30 seconds in, and then like when they get to verse 2, they do a swing beat again, but it's a completely different swing beat. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. Like, the only thing that holds this song back at all for me is that I think Happens All the Time probably has a stronger chorus. But I think that a lot of the choices surrounding the chorus in Gold Leaf elevate the song as a whole and might like push it over the edge. Happens All the Time, very solid track. Really cool overall beat, like no knocks against this song. And there's a switch up at like 140-ish that like really gets after it. But it doesn't like, it didn't stick with me as much as Gold Leaf, I guess just because it wasn't as like dramatically different. I don't know if that means that Gold Leaf is better or not. It's very close. But that's just my initial like takes on those songs, you know?
I 100% agree. I love these both in completely different ways. I think that Gold Leaf, like you said, I just love the way this is like when we're talking about how he can do like such different styles, and like it sounds like maybe there's even a feature on this track or like certain tracks. This is the song I immediately thought of, because that initial like vocal bit that he hits right at the beginning, especially coming off of Devices, which we've been listening to for months, to hear him just completely change up his vocal style is so like, what the fuck am I in for on this goddamn album? This is crazy. Like I know this is going to sound like a knock to you guys, but I swear it's not. He sounds like Adam Levine with the way his vocal quality is that high. And like the sexy shit. I know you're going to think that's a negative knock, but it's not, because Adam Levine has a really good high voice. I'm going to move on.
Let's agree.
Hold on. One of my guilty pleasure songs is Feelings by Maroon 5. So I totally get where you're coming from.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not going to disagree with what you said, but let's make an agreement to never, ever speak about Maroon 5 ever in our content ever again as we can help it.
I'm glad we both have guilty pleasure bits in Maroon 5, Brennan, because I 100% agree with this.
This channel has Christian values. No, seriously, dude, like that song, like the chorus fucking rips. All right, let's get past Maroon 5. What's up?
Yeah. But no, I just think it's really impressive because specifically, like, he can have that kind of quality to his voice, this really sexy, like, poppier style, then to go into, like, when it gets to the chorus of this track, which I still think is strong. I agree that it's maybe not as strong as, like, the chorus of Happens All the Time, but I still think it's pretty sick, nasty. It goes completely back to his normal style. And then you've got like the weird swing beats where it gets even weirder and different in his tone. Like this man's like just dipping his toes in 3 different vocal tones, and it's crazy. It's so cool. I also just think that the bit with the lyrics, the could not disappear, where he does like the little vocal run like Pia disappear, and like just kind of bounces back and forth, and the guitars also like bouncing like in contrast to him. Like that's just so cool. This song tries so much cool shit, and I love it. They also try the weird like dialogue thing at the end, and I don't necessarily dislike it, and that's why I didn't bring it up as a knock early on. It's just a weird choice because you still have like these cool echoey vocal things going on around it, and I don't even really know what that dialogue is. I didn't really pay attention enough or like splice out enough of it to figure out what was going on. But I still think it was really pretty, the stuff they did even around that at the end, and it's a very different choice for them, and I respect that. So and then, like you said, in contrast to Happens All the Time, I think Happens All the Time is just a super solid idea. Like, one idea that they fucking nail. They have some really wild instrumental moments in it that all just kind of fucking perfectly blend together. I will say, I think Happens All the Time is the only other track that kind of lands in a little bit of a repetitive area for me. Slightly. I think they do enough to kind of bring themselves out of that compared to the previous track I mentioned. But still, I think it's super solid.
Yeah. That's fair. Brandon.
Gold Leaf is amazing except for the last like entire minute of the track. I love how, like Kyle said, it kind of goes from like a Adam Levine, Maroon 5-y kind of thing. And all of a sudden you're on a pirate ship.
I said carnival, but yeah, absolutely.
Or carnival, like all of a sudden, like you're on a pirate ship. Then all of a sudden, you're in like an amazing chorus, and then you find yourself back on the pirate ship. Like it's an amazing song, but the last minute of it is just, it's not great, and I know we do have 2 tracks on here that apparently have really long endings and blah, 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 blah. But this is, like, offensive to this, too. Just because of its sheer length and girth. Like, it's literally twice as long. Other than that, though, like, literally everything else they do in it is fantastic. Like, tempo changes, fucking... The song is a roller coaster, takes you different directions, all that cool shit. And then you have Happens All the Time. And I think Kyle kind of hit the nail on the head with they had a really solid idea and they ran with it. I'm trying to think. Where's the timing of it? I'm trying to think.
1/4.
There's. I'm sorry. What?
is it the layering shit at like 210-ish? Because
Yeah,
like
where
that shit
he says
is
like
so
what,
cool.
maybe I should take a careless leap of faith or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that part was so like it was repetitive like the train wreck part from last. But like to me it actually made sense. Cuz like with how especially on the track, like I love whenever bands kind of set up like I guess maybe like emotion or like feeling like at the start of a song they kind of make it like feel a certain way with like the note selection and like you know because it's a very simple like two chug kind of riff to open the track. But then there's like some really like frantic guitar work like going on like kind of lowly like over that. And like with how he's like singing and then all of a sudden like it really picks up and it's going, you're like damn like okay this got me feeling some kind of way. And then like as the song progresses and then you hit that layery part, it's like okay, like logically this direction makes sense, you know, unlike last where it's just like all of a sudden you're on a train that's about to derail. It's adventurous but not nearly as adventurous as the others, and it is really good. But I mean, Gold Leaf does some pretty wild shit. Like I said, you end up on a fucking pirate ship. So,
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I prefer Happens All the Time. But I would not be butthurt in the slightest if you guys voted Gold Leaf. Because that track is worthy.
I want to put Kyle in the hot seat because I'm also like very close on these things. So I will vote Gold Leaf over it. Just to make Kyle uncomfortable and have to.
Awesome.
I'm sweat. So yeah, Happens All the Time is my vote. Don't fuck me, Kyle.
It's is tough because I totally understand why you would like you feel like the ending of Gold Leaf is an offensive thing because it definitely is not, you know, normal music. So like I get it. I take less offense to it for sure myself, but I can understand that. Oh no, the word objectively, it might not be the best thing. And to your credit, what happens all the time, I adore the guitar work in this track. Like it, where Gold Leaf allocated its resources to like doing these weird different styles well, Happens All the Time took this one like fast paced, almost chuggy vibe and let their guitars just be like, and find as many guitar riffs in this one thing as possible. And they just go crazy with it. They just keep going all over the place. It's so technically impressive. Bravo to them. I even said at the end of it, because it's one of the shorter tracks in the album, it's a fucking ripper of a short king. Because I think it's very strong. However, I think the track that's edging me, is gonna have to be Gold Leaf. I think it barely knocks it out to get into that number 5 spot, break into the top 5, purely because it does so many different styles so well. Even vocally, the tones are changing so well. Like it's awesome. I fucking love it, and I give it the edge.
Cool.
Fuck.
Sorry, Ben. Maroon 5-1. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I can't win them all, man. That's what it
is. All right. Well, we will lock those in. Now we are on to the debate between It's All There and Gothic Girl.
Ooh,
which
fuck me, dude.
We've already talked about Gothic Girl a fuck ton, so let's not retread that. I think the only thing we've really mentioned about It's All There so far is just that it's good.
Yeah.
And the ending is very long. Because, like, personally, if we're just talking about, like, how offended we are by the endings, and I don't really give a shit about either of the endings on this, I don't even really give a shit about the ending of Gold Leaf, if we're being honest. I hate spoken word shit, but that is, like, a usage of it that doesn't piss me off because it's blended with other stuff. But if we're just talking about the endings of Gothic Girl and It's All There, I dislike the ending of It's All There more than Gothic Girl because it is literally just like a distorted note that goes on for fucking ever. And I'm kind of like, I get to it and I'm like, I don't know if I should just like skip to the next track or not. Because like, I'm just going to be here for a while. And like, it's not necessarily a bad choice. It's just, it's long. How much distortion do we need? Really? I mean, but everything like leading up to that moment, like the last minute of the song, like leading up to the ending, where just like a drawn out distorted note pops off so hard, and it's so good, and it's so tasty and fresh. So like, I could really be convinced to go either way in this debate. Really, I guess I kind of need to hear your thoughts on the track.
Brennan, you were the one that was like kind of going back and forth, and I want to hear. We already heard you already talked about Gothic Girl. We all did. I want to know what you think about It's All There and why it was a tough decision for you.
Both of these songs, like with how they do things, is kind of similar. Like as far as, I guess, like the overall like structure of the song, because like the first like minute and 10 of It's All There, it's great, but literally like the minute 10 mark, it just fucking elevates. Like just takes you to like craziness, like Shred Town, like fucking like gets like real poppy at some points, and you hear the vocalist just fucking like, oh my god, like praise it, like whoa. And it like doesn't let up after that. Like yeah, there's parts where like it slows down, but like there's still like like with the kick drum and like the bass and the guitar like all kind of like strumming in one with like some stuff going on over top of it. Like it's so rich. There's so much going on here. And Gothic Girl's kind of the same way. like not like as like a pretty strong opening, and then like it just kind of like amps up from there. But man, It's All There is such a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry.
No, you're good. What else did you want to say about it?
To me, It's All There is more like, if both of these songs are roller coasters, right? It's All There gets to the first hill a little quicker, and probably like has a lot more like turns and loops and shit on your way back to the finish line. While Gothic Girl is like more of a climb to the first hill. Like it takes a little longer for you to get there. But like once you get there, it's like a couple like massive fucking drops. You know, like you're free falling like hundreds of feet on this coaster. Like with each like individual drop, like the Disco Sex Jam and like the final chorus like crescendo.
Yeah. And see, I even think that like the start of Gothic Girl is like all slightly more preferable than the start of It's All There, because I think like It's All There is very much like a building song more than Gothic Girl is. Like for Gothic Girl, I feel like you're just out the gate like just vibing and fucking throwing down to it, and it's just they take you in a lot of different places, but they never let up on the energy. They never let up on that like fucking get after it like vibe they're going for, you know? And that might make me want to give Gothic Girl the edge, honestly. Because I think these songs are basically equally good. Like I can't definitively say that one of these tracks is better than the other. But I think I might be leaning toward Gothic Girl for that reason. But Kyle, what do you think about It's All There?
I am pretty definitively personally in the boat that It's All There edges is out for me personally. I'll go as far to say as I think It's All There is the most like ambitious track on this album. And the reasoning for that is that I think that the way that It's All There is like structured, and the way that it like much like you said with Gothic Girl going after it, I think It's All There, once it gets out of that like slightly distant intro that it has, the way that it just flies and does so many wild technical things all the way up until that ending where it like gets all the distorty is absurd to me. I listened to it so many times when I was like just taking my notes, just like trying to like figure out what the fuck was going on with it. There are just like moments where the vocals will continue on like nothing's changed, and like the instrumentals are like fully fluctuating meter and like full stomping in ways that shouldn't work but are like so perfectly connected. It gave me like hardcore Seder vibes at moments in this track near the middle, where like they were doing like one time he'd sing one line and the instrumentals would be like very normal. He'd do the same vocal line and like the instrumentals are completely different and just doing wild offbeats. The next line it comes back through there's now like this really awesome like offbeat cymbal thing that goes on for like 4 bars. Like, and it's all like just like they're trying different things and like just little bars, like just throughout the whole thing. And it's so cool. And all of that, with all that, the vocals are being layered in a very cool way, especially around the highway robbery bit, I think, where it just, I think, fucking soars. And then if I'm not mistaken, around like the 317, 315-ish mark, where it like gets real fucking like it like that fast pace becomes like this like and it like just fucking gets like really fucking chuggy and like it just like pushes it to the end of the distortion. I think it's just such a cool way to like wrap this whole track up. I'm gonna go for It's All There because I talked about the things I liked about Gothic Girl, but I think the ambition in It's All There just fucking knocks my socks off.
That's fair. Well, Brennan, I guess you're gonna tie break this one because I'm gonna stick with Gothic Girl. Again, solely to put you in an uncomfortable position, so I don't have to be the one.
I like that we put this little decision off for you to like help you with it, and we've then just put you back in the same decision on which one to decide gets into the top 3.
Oh, fuck me, dude. Oh, because you're both so right. Like, in reality, this is 3A and 3B. Like,
yeah, I can see it.
Fuck. Because Kyle, like, I love your musical brain. Like, in the fact that like you understand like the science of this stuff, like how like the inner workings of like measures and. You know, like, and like, you bring incredible insight. And
thank you.
Like, I'm not bullshit. Like, Tyler, I'm not bullshit the guy. But, like, because everything you said, like, with how, like, they change, like, it's, like, little minor changes that, like, you know, only, like, the trained ear or, like, a good headset or, like, you know, it's stuff that, like, you know, people kind of looking for it really get. Like, everyone hears it, but like, and like now that you say like I'm hearing it, it's like okay, like they're changing like just little things, like from measure to measure, from fucking bar to bar. It's like just a little different, and like, but it's still like the same track. Oh fuck! And it's amazing. The whole package, like, and both of these tracks have the same problem. The last 30 seconds. But even then, like it's like natural like wind downs of the songs, because like with Gothic Girl, the part that and the rest of the track slaps too. Like there's so much going on with like, you know, different like little riffs and like the singer kind of like doing his thing. But the final crescendo, like that final chorus, or it's like and he's just like belting over it. It's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like this is something you'd hear in like a fucking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater commercials. Like all the dudes are like fucking like jumping on their skateboards like dude, and everyone's like doing tricks and shit. Like there's fireworks and bullshit going on. You know what I mean?
Well, you have to pick that now. I mean, with that metaphor. I mean,
or do you?
Or do you? I don't like. I have like such like a wild imagination when like I'm hearing this shit. I'm like, god damn. Kyle, I agree with everything you said, but like, like the first time I heard Gothic Girl, I was fucking floored. Like that final chorus, I was just like, "What song is this? I got to talk about this tonight." Like, I got to talk about this song when we get together. Fuck, I gotta go with Gothic Girl. I'm sorry, dude.
Very fair.
It really is. It really is 3A and 3B.
Yeah, they're both absolute bangers. Curious to see how people rank those in their personal rankings in the comments below. If anyone watches this. So now we are left with the top two. Devices which we've been sitting on for fucking ever, which has not dropped in quality at all, regardless of the fact I've listened to it about 82,000 times. And Waypoints, which has been here slightly less long, but has also not dropped in quality in all of the times that I have listened to it. Where do we even begin?
Don't know.
I mean, Kyle, you tabled Waypoints. I guess you can just, I'll let you go off about that for a second.
To put it in perspective, the way I feel about these two tracks, Devices came out, and I was like, holy fuck, did I miss the mark with Dwellings? I went back, I listened to more of the shit, and I was like, I did, but Devices still felt like it was like a clear step above for me. I was like, certainly it must be a fluke. And then Waypoints came out, I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna love this, because I think both these tracks are phenomenal. I think they both are doing like really ambitious things and nailing them, and so fluidly moving between these like meters, these different stylistic choices. They're both just phenomenally put. Specifically though, with Waypoints, I love like this pulsy start that it has. It's like starts out very kind of like, oh, like what's going on here? You got a little bit of chaotic guitar that's building after that initial intro. The line where it's like talks about bedrock, that vocal line, I think the moment that hits, it fucking rips. Like we're just going. The runs vocally and guitar wise are just incredible throughout this entire track. They just boggle the mind every time one of them hits my eardrums. I love that the guitars go between like these styles of like very punchy, and then also like get very fluttery at times, like very like back to back to create these cool contrasts. And the reason why personally I wanted to table this track from like a minute 47, I believe it is. Let me double check, because I don't want to be wrong about this when I make this statement. I ain't nowhere else to be. I got no kids, no wife. I ain't got no mouth to feed. Like when that lyric hits the first time, all the way to like 2:43 is my favorite moment on this album, and one of my favorite moments musically this year. It is so pleasing. Oh my god, the fucking you hear that him hit those vocals the first time with like the siren guitar like kind of going in the background and like the super like fucking confident like pounding of the drums, and then the vocals kick it up and he just fucking belts in like just such a passionate, awesome way. You've got the fucking guitars going crazy doing these cool full stops, and then he stops singing and the guitars are like, hold my fucking beer, I'm gonna pull off these wild runs. Like, oh my god. Every time I hear it, I just like kind of, I usually just go, I'm gonna drag that back a little bit. And I just listen to those fucking guitars go absolutely absurd in that portion. I could not, And then the vocals are like, nah, I'm still here. And they do like that really distant, like, I don't know when I should quit. And it's like really distant, like echoey. And it's so cool. And then we get the fucking, like the wild shit that happens at the end of the track, where like you thought it was getting chill at the end of that, the shit I was talking about being my favorite bit, and then you have like this really cool idea where there's like these cool layering of guitars and vocals, much like we talked about. There was another track where I thought it was just a cool idea they just did stuff on. Happens all the time. The end, like the last minute of this track, takes an idea and just fucking like builds up and down off of it as well. Like it goes kind of back to like their more like normal style, but like still using parts that were in the front of this track. Like it is just so cool that this track does so many things, and in the middle there gives me my favorite shit I've heard in a minute. I fucking adore this track so much, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it.
I mean, no notes. You nailed it all. I couldn't possibly add anything to that, honestly. I mean, I don't think you left anything out. It's a solid fucking track. I mean, I feel like the more I listen to it, the more nuance I pick up on, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. If I wasn't sold before, I mean, I'm sold now. And I was sold before already. But I mean, Brennan, what do you think?
Kyle. All right.
Yes.
the part you mentioned, okay, the first time I heard it, instantly I was taken back to Kurt Travis DGD. Like,
Yeah, sure.
with the alarm fucking like guitar and just like the bump, 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 bump. Like it was like, what the fuck? Oh, dude. You're so right. That is like one of the best parts of music, period, that has come out this year so far. Like just 147 to like whenever it ends is just so fucking gnarly, dude. Like he's screaming on vocals. Like you have like that. It's just a simple fucking 4-bit riff, and then all of a sudden it's like Tap City, like right after that. It's like, whoa, dude. And I just remember the first time I listened to it, like whenever he stops singing and the instrumentals just take over, I just remember thinking like, wow, like this band is so like in sync with each other, you know, like instrumentals to vocals, that like the singer knows just when to like take a step back and just shut the fuck up. Like just let the track do its thing. Everyone else in the band's totally fucking got this. Let's prepare for the next part. Like that it's so subtle, but it just had so much impact. Like on a track that already just goes everywhere. And you know, it's like the movie, man. It's everywhere, everything, all at once. Fucking glorious. So, I mean, maybe I'm casting my ballot a little early, but to me, this feels like the strong candidate for number one.
That is fair.
So, but I mean, we still have another one to talk about. I mean,
we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say right now, I can't top Kyle's assessment of that song. But that being said, I'm still going to talk about how much I like Devices.
I think you should.
Yeah,
because
Devices
it's so good,
very good. I remember when they first dropped this track, and I was like blown away by how good it was. Like I could not stop listening to it. Much like Pick Up Before You Go, I think that was like their best track they had written prior to this album. That was like, this hit like the same bar, and that got me so excited for the new album right off the bat. And just there's no issues with it. I mean, like we've talked about like little minute problems and everything that maybe we've had with some other, you know, songs on the album. This one is just perfection. I mean, it's everything that I want out of a Dwellings track. Everything I want out of just a Swancore track in general, pretty much. I mean, it's just a great fucking track. It's again, and I kind of mentioned this before on another song. I don't remember which one, but there's a line in this genre of music where you can get like too over technical. You can get like where it's very impressive, but it's almost like hard to keep up with, almost like difficult to fully appreciate and actually like, you know, vibe along to. And this, I think, captures like that perfect balance of like, it's extremely technical, extremely complex, goes all these different places, tries all these different things, but it contains itself in a way that it's like approachable and it's easily like consumed, and you can like bop to it like you could if you were like a plebeian who likes top 40 music. Like it's that easily like enjoyable, you know, but it's doing all of these crazy things. Like they're doing so much like weird like metering and time signature stuff in this song, almost boggles the mind. And it boggles the mind even more that all of this stuff is happening, but I'm not like getting overwhelmed or like, you know, it makes sense, and it's packaged in a way that it's just really fucking cool, and it's really easy to just rock along to. And this song in particular too just offers a ton of switch ups that like some of which are like so seamless, like you don't even fully realize they're happening until you kind of like take a second to kind of like listen to it and like actually pick it apart, because they're just woven together like so seamlessly, and it's all just this cohesive package. I don't know. I just really like this song. I don't know if I'm gonna vote for this over Waypoints or not. This is very close for me. But that is why I tabled Dwellings off the bat, because I think that it's just an absolute immaculate package of a song.
I know I like hardcore gushed about Waypoints, but I like legitimately, like I'm not even joking, I think this is a 1A 1B scenario, because I think this track fucking rips so hard. Like you said, I mean the technical shit where like the metering is like constantly changing, like constantly, and there's no drop in like quality at any moment where this is shit switching, and most other bands, and I'm not kidding, most other bands would falter. Like I'm curious to hear this live, because it's gonna be wild if they just fucking nail this, because like wow, like this shit. I think you put it really perfectly when you mentioned like they perfectly just on the one side of the line where this is like really technical and still digestible. And I think it also helps because this song is still like formatted like verse, chorus, bridge, and then final chorus. Yeah. And like it's crazy technical within like that standard listening style that like most people can like really get into, which is something that like It's All There doesn't really do. Or like a lot of tracks actually on this album don't really do, because they just want to fucking whip out random genres out there. And I still think they're cool, but most people wouldn't. I also, the thing I want to talk about with Devices specifically is I don't know, like I really was like stretching to hear it, but it sounds like at times they're like doing like little horn blasts at the ends of phrases. And I can't tell if I'm insane or not, because it's really lightly put in there, like very high, like just trumpet, like pew, like at the ends of fucking phrases. And I love it if that's what's happening, or if it's just like added in like electronically, like whatever it is. I think it adds like that extra bit of layer to make these huge stacked moments even more stacked. And I love it. It's so good. Vocally, this track also has just always stood out to me. The moment it hits that, like, I'm feeling like I'm 10 grand, and like that in the bridge where it just fucking, he soars. Impressive as fuck to me. I strongly advise anyone to specifically listen to Devices and Waypoints from this album if you're not going to listen to the whole thing, because they're truly 1A and 1B.
I agree.
Mwah. French kiss.
Ooh. I didn't use tongue. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I'm all deep in the song, bro. These songs are amazing.
They're so good, dude. Brennan, did you want to talk about Devices at all, or are we down to vote for number one here?
Oh, give me one sec. I like the chorus. I like the dude had some wordplay. I love towards the end of the song how it has a couple switch ups. Like whenever I first turned this album on, like I had heard Devices before. Although it had been a minute. But like I remember like the first time I listened to this album like in full, like hearing Devices, I'm thinking like, man, like we're in for a fucking album here. Like this is gonna be fucking legit. So I think it's an excellent track. I agree. I think this is gonna be a 1A, 1B type situation. But Waypoints is just superior, man. Like that track fucks so hard, dude. like Devices fucks pretty well, but like Waypoints fucks, dude.
I agree.
Straight up.
Like hard agree. I think everything around that segment that we talked about being phenomenal is like around the same level as Devices, and then they have that as like the middle fucking the meat of that sandwich of a song. Like it just wow, that's like Wagyu grade A beef, baby. That shit's delicious. So I give it the edge, but like I said, definitely like this Waypoints 1A, Devices 1B for me.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And for me, Waypoints was a great album ender because I received this in the wrong order. Yeah.
that would be a ripper of an album ender. I will not lie.
Yeah. I was like, every time I listened to it, I was like, I don't know why the song titled Last isn't Last, but I mean, Waypoints is God tier, so I get it.
Wow, it worked out.
Start and end the album on a high note. Let's go. We'll lock that in then at number 1. It's no qualms from me. I'm on board. So that's it. We're done. We ranked Little Garden by Dwellings. Delightful album. Check it out if you haven't. I don't know why you'd be listening to this if you haven't, but anyway, I'm going to recap this little old ranking, and then we're going to head out. Very fun stuff. All right, so number 10 is Serrated. Number 9 is Red. Number 8 is Last. Number 7 is Hiding Your Numbers. Number 6 is Happens All the Time. Number 5 is Gold Leaf. Number 4 is It's All There. Number 3 is Gothic Girl. Number 2 is Devices. And number 1 is Waypoints. And even though my order of the album was in a different order than everyone else, we can all agree that this is the order that they are as far as quality goes. But if you disagree with us on that, a little or a lot, let us know in the comments below and put your personal ranking. We always love checking those out, even if they're horrendously off base. Always love hearing people's opinions and why they like different songs. So hit us up with that in the comments below. Make sure you like this video if you liked it, because that helps out an absolute ton. And if you're not subscribed to the Talk Slot Boys, you could maybe do that. We don't upload as much as we used to, but we're still here. So, like, you could get notified when the next time. Maybe it's probably better that we don't upload as much. Maybe that encourages people to subscribe more, because now you really don't know when we're gonna pop out and release something. So you can subscribe and ring that bell, and you'll get notified whenever we exist again. Because we're very infrequent now.
But that's the beauty of it, though.
Yeah, we're a fun little surprise now instead of a consistent dose of
letdown.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, he's right.
Oh, shit.
The bell has never been more important to
I'm under talking about trains derailing in East Palestine, dude. What the fuck? Is it too soon, Ohioans? I don't know.
Anyway, we have been the Talk Slot Boys. We're going to talk a whole lot more next time. We'll see you later.